Hello, hello. All right. A market review of Monday, 27th of March. The previous video was a trade recap of mine that I took today on DAX. Yesterday, we went over the monthly, weekly, daily, and 4-hour of all these assets. Now, today, I want to quickly go over the daily and the 4-hour for a little bit. For the rest, I'll skim over it real quick because for the rest, I want it to be up to you. I want you to do your own higher time frame analysis. Of course, I'll still give my insights, etc., because that's what I'm here for, but I'm also here for you to hear the reality, which is if you just stick to my analysis and don't do your own, you'll never learn how to trade properly. So let's get right into it. The bonds on the daily, we are rejecting here. We still have all these retail traps, which I don't like. I still would love to see higher prices, but I'm not forcing anything. So as of currently, I don't like this price action. It's a bit messy. The only thing I can see on the daily is this volume imbalance, which we're currently disrespecting. Then the next thing is this fair value gap. But again, I would love to see this breaker, which is in the making, hold to push higher. Messy price action for sure, messy price action. I don't like it a lot. Then here on the 4-hour, we had this fair value gap, which disrespected the price. It should have pushed higher if it wanted to go higher. Then the next thing, which we also talked about, was this fair value gap. Now, for price to come all the way here and then push higher, it's very weird and messy price action. And the next thing we'll see is this breaker plus the fair value gap here. All right, so that's it for the bonds. Then for the yields, which is pushing higher, also disrespecting this order block again. All the liquidity is still resting here. We have this swing high, which we could see some sort of rejection again. Not ideal price action, not at all. Then here we have a new order block forming. Potentially, we could see higher prices from there or from this fair value gap. Then for the dollar is doing what we expected it to do, which is weird because the first thing, I don't know if you noticed it as well, dollar is going lower, yields are going higher, bonds are going lower. It's not supposed to happen. This is a decoupled market. When markets are not moving in sync, it's low probability conditions. And this is a low probability condition, in my plan, at least. So I'll be very careful. I'll be adjusting my risk properly, and I'll take it into account for sure. Now we're rejecting off of this series, off of this breaker as well. Again, will we continue lower immediately from here? I'm not sure because I don't like this top as well. So we could see Monday close here, Tuesday sweep Monday's low, push higher, Wednesday higher of the week or something. But that's me predicting, and we only like to predict the next candle forming. So depending on how we close here, depending on what Tuesday wants to do, if it sweeps Monday's low, and we see the willingness of price react to it. Again, I won't go into the lower time frames just now. I just want to focus on the higher time frame analysis this week, because you first need to get the higher time frame analysis down, and then next week we can get into the lower time frames and see how we would have entered, etc., etc. That's important to know. But again, if we sweep Monday's low, we could see higher prices, but the reverse could also be said. If we sweep Monday's high, we could see lower prices. Messy price action, decoupled market, so adjust your risk and react accordingly. Then for ES, pushing higher, Yeah, that's about it. Pushing higher. It's a bit, again, it's super messy. And again, here ES is pushing lower whilst dollar is also pushing lower. So it's again a sign of a decoupled market. It's not good. But if dollar wants to continue lower, ES should ideally continue higher. This busy and this breaker supporting price currently, it's not displacing away just yet, but we might still see displacement later on. Nasdaq dropping lower, whilst dollar is also dropping lower, whilst Nasdaq or whilst ES has a higher daily candle. I think by now you can see my idea. It's a very ugly market. We need to wait. We need to have some patience. We need to wait for the right moment to strike. And I'm sure of it that this week there will be one day where price action will be so clean and you'll just wake up, you'll get behind your desktop and you'll open the chart and you think, all right, yes, perfect. This is it. This is what I'm going to execute on. And that's the highest probability setups that we want, because if we can make an argument of both sides of the market, we generally stay out. At least I stay out, because if I can make an argument for both sides of the market, aka a 50-50 bias, then that's not something I'm willing to trade, especially not when the market is also decoupled like this. So Nifty, this volume imbalance on the daily pushing lower now. Ideally, I would want to see it push lower here into this drawn liquidity that we established yesterday. DAX is the only clean price action I've seen so far for me. DAX came into the 4-hour order block. If you've seen my trade recap that I've uploaded, then you'll see what I talk about. We've came into this 4-hour order block. For our FEG pushing higher. Ideally, we want to see it push higher from here. Support, this breaker should support price as well, ideally. All right, next Euro GBP. We were targeting this 4-hour fair value gap, which it's still just ranging and hovering above. Now, if it's hovering above like this, and Monday is a range, previous day low sweep on Tuesday and higher prices, who knows, possibly. All dependent on what price wants to do. EU. All right, this is also playing out nicely so far, because we are rejecting off of this breaker block and order block. We are pushing higher right now. Now, again, we will be making a fair value gap when we open up tomorrow, unless we push very high right now, which I don't expect. But we will be making a fair value gap, so we have to keep that in mind, that we could potentially tap into the fair value gap, still push lower, and then maybe higher. We would have to react, but market is decoupled. I pretty much have a bias now because the market is decoupled. I have a 50-50 bias, so I adjust my risk. I know the conditions. I'm very careful this week until there will be a day where everything is so clear, where I'll just execute on easily. GU, also, we expected it to drop down lower in here. It could still do that and then continue higher. 4-hour, if it wanted to continue lower, it should have likely done here. Now, I don't like that we just disrespect every fair value gap here. It's, again, messy price action. If you want to continue higher, I would love to see something like this. And if you wanted to continue lower, I would have to wait for more price action. It's not clear to me. And notice as well, I'm not uncomfortable saying that I'm not clear, or that I'm not clear on price action and my bias. I'm at ease in the uncertainty, and that's what you have to be in trading. There will be days like this where it's just there's no clear drawn liquidity. Yesterday we did have a clear drawn liquidity in my eyes, but today everything changes, decoupled market. That's something we have to take into account as traders. We have to adjust accordingly. And we have to be fine with saying, all right, I don't know for sure where it's going to trade to next. Now, for this is pretty clear because we said if price wanted to continue higher, we would ideally see price trade into here and then push higher. Now, price is disrespecting this level. The next thing I would expect is this 4 hour to close, then respect this breaker and respect this fair value gap and something like this. So this is something very clear. Now, this is one thing you need for your trading. Something like this, just a clear low resistance liquidity run. Something you can see so clear and that you can execute on. This is perfect. This is what I would love to see. Then for AUD USD, rejecting off of this order block, came into something on a weekly, I think here. This is the fair value gap we outlined yesterday, plus the breaker. The bodies are respecting it beautifully, but we are not displacing away just yet. Again, it could be because of a Monday, but I don't like this price action. I would want to see something more because we are not displacing away. USD JPY. Coming into this order block we outlined, we are disrespecting this fair value gap pretty convincingly. Here we have this bigger daily order block fair value gap on the 4 hour. Now I would love to see price reject here in the coming days to go lower. Then for GBP cut, coming into this order block we outlined today or yesterday, sorry. Then ideally, if you do want to continue higher, I wouldn't want to see it break this order block. It could come into this fair value gap, but that's very low. If price wants to come all the way back to then continue higher, that's something I wouldn't like to see. Then for here, if we do want to continue lower, I would likely see it continue lower from here. And then possibly continue higher from this order block or from this fair value gap here and then continue higher. So a quick recap, if we just take the dollar into account, I would still say bearish dollar overall. Now per day, it can be a little bit different because we could sweep the low of Tuesday tomorrow, or we could just continue lower. I'm not quite sure yet. I want to see more price action and I want to see it form more price action. That way we can get a clearer view. I want to see price action not be decoupled like it is now. This is not a good sign at all. So just be aware, do your own analysis, do your own higher time frame analysis, and make up your own mind, because my logic and my higher time frame analysis right now might be flawed. I might wake up tomorrow and it might all be very clear to me and I might be able to execute easily. So this is why it's important to not act like my analysis is the holy grail. Your analysis is the holy grail. You'll probably see it better than me with experience, and that's the way you turn into a great trader. So just be aware of this, form your own logic, etc. And good luck, and thank you for listening.